pretty insane catch, right? The very next year, after this catch, registration at University of Boston College increased by 39%. My name is Otoniel Gumbs, and I'm going to be talking about athletic funding and the importance of athletic funding. Now, the video that we watched prior is about to make a lot of more sense once I explain this, which is going to lead to that, which is what we saw, the Flutie effect. Now, what is the importance of well-funded programs? This is very simple. Money leads to talent, talent leads to success, success leads to students, okay? Money leads to attracting athletics, athletics leads to the success leads to students. Now, what do I mean by this? Money. It is not cheap to recruit. It is not cheap to travel in state. It's not cheap to travel out of state. It's not cheap to travel, let alone across the nation. Let alone it is not cheap to travel out of the nation. Okay, what stops a track coach from wanting to go to Jamaica and recruit track runners? What stops a baseball coach from wanting to go to Panama and Puerto Rico to recruit baseball players? It's the budget. But once the budget is given, which the University of the Ozarks has the potential to give but hasn't given yet, we can then attract the talent. Once we attract these talented players, they create a successful program. With a talented team, we can win games, we can win playoffs, we can maybe even win championships. And once the success is created, athletics really is the #1 marketing tool of the university, and our name starts to get out there and it attracts students because students want to go, whether we admit it or not. Students want to go to a school that has a great athletic program. Students want to go to a school that is known for their athletics. Students want to go to school to have a college experience, to have a social life, which revolves around the athletic department, especially at a school like University of the Ozarks, where almost 50% of the school is composed of athletes. Therefore, we really need to invest in our athletic programs. As Mark Cohen, marketing director of TCU's athletic department, said, as much as academics is important to a university, the school's athletics is the front porch. In other words, the school athletics is, as I said prior, the #1 marketing tool to getting the name out there, to getting students to want to come to the school. The Flutie effect. Marketing experts and school deans have acknowledged the power of the Flutie effect's ability to transfer a successful collegiate athletic program into a hot ticket for admissions. Once James Flutie threw that Hail Mary touchdown at the last second, it went viral on national TV. Students graduating high school started to want to go to Boston College, and registration the very next year increased 39%. All right. Georgetown University applications multiplied 45% between 1983 and 1986, following a surge of basketball success. Northwestern University's application advanced 21% after winning the Big Ten championships in football. The primary form of mass media advertising by academic institutions in the United States is arguably through their athletic programs, said by Doug Chung, who is a marketing expert as well. So what stops us from creating our own Flutie effect? What stops us from investing in our recruitment, investing in our infrastructure? I was talking to Jimmy Clark, one of the directors of the athletic program, and he was talking about how we've lost a lot of very promising athletes due to the fact that other schools have a more attractive athletic complex than we do, such as Mary Hardin Baylor. Okay, so what stops us from investing in our athletic infrastructure, from investing in our athletic funding, so that we can then attract those students, those athletes, that talent, which will lead to our success, which will then lead to our name being more prominent among students in the United States. So what is the current state of University of the Ozarks? To be fair, our budget has increased substantially over the last 15 years. Jimmy Clark was telling me how When he was baseball coach in 2015, the recruitment budget was only $700, which was barely enough to travel for one day or two, and traveling itself went for the teams. The traveling budget was less than $10,000. Now, as of 2020, our recruitment budget is at $7,000, and our traveling budget for our teams stand at $20,000. I only have these two budgets because these were the only ones that were allowed to be given to me as a student. But we do see how our record has improved over the last 4 years. In 2016, baseball, we were winning 12 games a season, losing 27 games a season. Now, as of 2020, we are winning 11 games a season, losing 5 games a season. And this is as of 2020, taking into consideration that our season had to be cut in half due to COVID. Now, in regards to basketball, we were winning 8 games a season, losing 18 games a season as of 2016. But as of 2020, we've been winning 8 games a season, losing 17 games a season. I obviously can't put all 21 of our athletic programs on here, but this is just to give you a gist of it, of how, because of the increase in budget, we have been able to do a better job by attracting talent, creating a more successful program, and our records have improved. This is not coincidence. This also has had an effect on the student body. How? The student retention rate over the last 4 years, from 2016 until now, has increased 15%. And the enrollment rate from 2014 until 2020 has increased 45%. Okay, like I said, this is not a coincidence. We have had an increase in budget, which has led to an increase in our record, which has led to an increase in the retention rate and enrollment rate of the student body. Now, strategies to increase funding are the following, okay? So what can we do to increase funding? What can we do to work towards this goal of creating our own food effect, to creating our own successful program to then attract more students, which is the goal? Pay-per-view is one option. We can broadcast the games, we can stream the games, and have people pay to watch these games. Now, more people used to pay to watch these games because our conference was mostly in the state. We used to play schools in Russellville, play schools in Conway, and people felt more identified. But now that we moved conference and we play a lot of out-of-state schools, people don't feel as identified anymore and don't really watch our games anymore, which is the reason we had to stop doing pay-per-view. But we can develop a marketing strategy to get the community back involved and bring pay-per-view back around. Also, our online platforms. School merch online. I looked up the school merch website. It is not up to date. It is not up to date whatsoever, and it is very sketchy. We need to work on our online platforms, and we need to promote our online platforms. We don't promote our online platforms enough. Also, camps is another thing we can do. Over the summer, these athletic departments can host camps, have kids pay per entry. All these things are things that will bring revenue for our athletic department. To be fair as well, what is being done? Basketball money games. We will play money games against UCA, where they'll pay us a certain amount of money to play them. Several money games were scheduled this year for our basketball program, which weren't able to happen because of COVID. So there is being an effort that is being done. And baseball also does things as fundraising batting events, where people will go, they'll pledge, $1 for every foot that the ball is hit, and depending on how many foots overall are hit in the day, that's the amount of money that the baseball program receives, and all those things go right back into the baseball program and the basketball program. So those are things that are being done. However, I do think that we could be more proactive in learning from each other. The departments can look at the other departments, certain athletic departments can look at the other athletic departments and programs and see what they're doing and see how they can apply it to their program, as well as doing camps, promoting pay-per-view, promoting merchandise online. Now, my favorite part of what is being done is the future athletic complex. And this is what it's going to look like. I think this is totally amazing. As you can see, the baseball field is going to be expanded and remodified, as well as a softball field. The current soccer field, the intramural soccer field, is going to turn into the official soccer field with a track around it. So we're going to actually have our own track, and we're not going to have to use the local high school's track. The soccer field is going to be remodified as well, and the street that goes in between the baseball field and the intramural soccer field is going to turn into parking and buildings for the athletic programs, such as locker rooms, rehab centers for the students, for the student athletes, places where, students, parents, families, friends can come and walk around and have a good time. So our athletic complex currently is not in the best condition, but it is going to be remodified. And I think that once this is remodified, it's going to attract a lot more students and motivate a lot more potential athletes to come here instead of going to another school. And this is currently not being advertised, but I do think that the university needs to advertise these plans because it is going to excite a lot of students and it's going to excite future athletes. At the end of the day, we had to make the most out of our D1 budget. Alex Winokur, also one of the directors at TCU, says, "Do not count on other people. It is your department and your budget. Own it." So this is referring to the coaches. Finance departments have delays in entering information and make mistakes, but you should know every in and out. This means be creative with your budget. Just because you have $3,000 allocated to a certain specific thing doesn't mean that you need $3,000 in that one area. Maybe allocate it towards something else that you could use it. Renegotiate. Talk to vendors, okay? Maybe you don't need to have one specific vendor for your balls and another specific vendor for uniforms and another specific vendor for your practice jerseys or for your shoes. Maybe use the same vendor for all those things and you'd be surprised of how much money you could save, and so on. Volume is key. Buy things in bulk. And like I said, single vendors. At the end of the day, I was talking to Reggie Hill, and he says, and I quote, "It is my mission, under the understanding that athletics is a big part of this goal, to see the enrollment of this school go up to 1,200 through 1,500. And this is stated as Reggie Hill. And he clearly understands that athletics is the key to increasing the student body. Currently, the future athletic complex is on pause because the science building is being worked on, which is several $1 million. But once that is over, then we will, and I quote from Reggie Hill, invest more into the athletic program. It's not a matter of not thinking about it. It's not a matter of taking initiative. It's just a matter of being patient. So this PowerPoint serves more as a call to a sense of urgency to get the ball rolling, because the vision is there. We just need to get it started. And once we get it started, I have no doubt in my mind, and as proven with other colleges and universities, that we can create our own fluid effects and attract more students. Thank you.